Can we use color? What color should I use? Okay.
Oh yeah, but I can feel like
Alright, quiet down, please.
I was really going there to be a nurse practitioner. Why not go?
I mean, it is definitely like
More schooling.
but in the end, I say
It's 2 more years.
yeah. Well, in the grand scheme of things, you're like 2 more years, like after you use
And then you have to do residency. But at least you get.
If it can even differentiate
You're talking calligraphy pens?
Are you
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that?
I'm talking accountant.
I
Are you doing
get
that
what you're
thing
saying,
that
but
you
this
were
is
doing on
a
Saturday?
calligraphy tip.
Oh no! Is it boring?
I don't know
It
how that is.
literally
It's like
has
my
the
first
press.
class.
Oh.
It literally has the press.
So I can tell you next year.
Where is it?
Okay, so when you're writing like squares and going
Fountain
and
pens
triangles.
don't. Fountain pens
It's
don't
squares
have
and
pressure
rectangles.
points.
It's on all the scores on the left side, like the left section of scores, and it's like it's really small. And I didn't even know it was there until like I was like I don't know your class. I was like, I didn't know this was here.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry, how did I have that? It's 3 months long.
3 months.
Yeah, 'cause it's only on weekends.
Incredible.
Oh no.
But this
Well, at least
year,
it's nice. I mean, you have to do the CNA test.
I don't know.
Nice.
if we have
Isn't the
Is that supposed to miss the tracking?
actually, I'm only going to do when you
This
guys
was
have
what the-
and then
Yeah.
I can make it to the district, the summit, then
Oh, that sucks.
I
I
had.
know. Do you get English districts in grand
Yes.
class? Like in English class?
Yeah.
We have prom
And
that weekend
what's up?
district, graduation that weekend district, and then our last hospital day is June 19th.
Right, you're gonna be a CNA.
Remember when we did like a time right and like someone has like 45 something else's time right? That's what I'm hoping for.
At least you get experience.
Yes.
And so when you apply for nursing school, they'll automatically like.
And she was like tired, like oh like
They're very talkative today.
I know.
I want the
Oh,
yeah, like you'd rather be in like transport.
This is the first time I've actually not talked to anyone who's done my work.
Look at you, Maddie. I knew you had it in you.
Thanks at all. Okay, state's done.
Yeah.
Jillian!
I have to like sacrifice my.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm coming to hospital.
I think I'm gonna use a pen. Of blue.
No pink.
No,
Just so it doesn't blend into her
already
space.
used. I'm gonna take out my bracelet because it's in the
I
way.
can write my signature.
Excuse me.
I'm still trying to use it.
No, I write pseudo-cursive
Ditto.
where I sometimes will use the cursive letter, but it won't connect it. I write my Zoom cursive.
What?
You need to know what the supervisor
You know what I have this time?
24.
Oh, you're fine.
It is.
isolated.
Okay, but it's just like the double story with the single story.
Did you
Is
love
this
that
why I
poem?
put Tyler on the opposite side?
Well, they didn't.
You're just talking.
We talked about fountain pens for like,
Those things are still made.
yeah, Tyler is using one right now. You're right. He's mad.
And then if you like not
You gotta have an eraser to do that.
Yeah, you do. Or whiteouts that they
Oh my gosh, you write
Nate!
Wait,
Yeah, it
I
wasn't
can't.
even pretty cursive. It was just cursive.
Is it choose a color?
Yes, just not blue, because it'll blend into her blue.
You can.
I like the comparison of your
I know to Maddie's. Also, I took a fraction of the time though. Maddie, it takes longer for Maddie's to look than for mine to look nice.
Actually, yeah, that's true.
I wish I could just have it in writing without having to put it in an effort.
My mom was like, you can like make a font. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna learn how to write Comic Sans.
I want it.
I'm gonna do it.
Like Egyptian.
Is Tyler always this talkative?
Yes.
She would like take out like a random like textbook and stuff.
It's only that side of the room, too.
I would do that mainly.
Like, this side of the room is very quiet.
I think it's because of dark.
But I have them over here.
And then
It's never the same.
I don't know, like,
Oh,
when I
stinker.
when I get pizza, I just go like that. I don't even write it.
Mine's like it's a J. It's L and that's done. And my mom's is so easy. I can't remember the last time I asked my mom. Yeah, but it's
Miss Will, did I get my AirPods in?
that's it. It's good.
Yesterday?
That's why I signed everything.
Not that I saw.
No, it's just
Maybe it's just in my house.
I signed.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I let you misplace that one time. And the last time I saw him was when I dropped it.
Yeah,
I can run a pity.
you probably are making more noise than me, so I don't think. Yeah, I don't think.
All right, and Haley's concluding for us.
No, I quit my place.
I can't read.
Hannah's
You know how much
face.
stuff I like?
She's good.
I get that, but that's generous. Well, that's kind of good.
I want to.
Is it good? Is it fit for you? To be honest.
It fits.
It
He gets what he
But
pays
like
for.
not
I mean, the cup, the, like
I talked to Nate and Jeff both when they were up here about how their little group over there is super loud.
I get it, but
Did either of them go back and be quiet? No.
Oh, I see your
Gosh.
but it doesn't really matter because I get a lot of
I had to spend 2 hours or more.
Seriously, like,
It was like one
the
of my
whole right side of the classroom is quiet, and then over by the door, they're super loud.
It's because they're there.
Sure.
I'm just like,
You're really struggling with the standard deviation.
I don't like
You
it.
know where you are. You know where you are.
This is the mid for
This is my one.
We have a white director.
So like here,
There is no way.
why, how did you tell me?
It's like, I think I want to do
I just need to do the estimate and like the
But that's,
first of all,
There's a wakes up. Yeah, I'm gonna do crazy.
Yeah. Please.
oh, that's the standard deviation. Sorry, right. There's something about people where your handwriting is so no.
Draco's usually look at
But like a lot of them are obviously my brother writes it like really good. Only people are either
he's
really
okay, and then I got,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Like
No, I only got my notes back because I used to have to wear these as to wear this. But see that one, because I just want about it.
You know, I admire the commitment.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god.
I
I
had,
was like, I'm
What's
going
on
to
it?
be crying.
I've had
I'm going to be.
I had somebody call me and I always
I hate
answering the phone is the worst. Mainly because everybody is somebody's calling a student.
Get what?
It's something that
Yeah, I've only had it.
It's already 11.
I know, getting engaged right now.
already has a place. We saw like
It's hard.
the most mid-shooting story
Like,
ever.
if you look at the average
And he
of
got
class,
mad
most
at
of
me.
it is
He was
below.
like,
It's
I was like, do you know?
this is the one where this is like.
Average is from 30 and up? I don't know.
All right. Quiet down. Jillian, Nate, Tyler. That little pocket over there.
We're talking about really important things.
Yes,
But now we're gonna focus
men's warehouse.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
You can't get a lace shirt there, Miss Whittle. Don't even try. A lace dress shirt can't be done.
That's sexy.
Isn't that kind of implied by the name?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Oh no, just in general. Like even a man at Men's Warehouse couldn't get a lace dress shirt.
No, you're good.
All right, I'm gonna go back to math because I get math. I'm not sure I get that. So
Boycott.
the interval 0.2995 to 0.4029. Excuse me.
My handwriting's just that bad.
There were maybe a few of your classmates that went
Yeah.
when they were trying to read it. I can read it. And that's really what matters. So, thank you. I had a student in AP Stats, I want to say 6-7 years ago. I could not read his handwriting. And I would try, and I could maybe make out and I couldn't read any of his free response answers, so he would fail, and you would think the kid would come and be like, hey, this is what it says. Nope. He just took the F every time. Stayed in the whole year.
What?
I
Got an F every single time.
every single time. Because I couldn't read anything. And the multiple choice is only like 10 points out of 100. It's only 10%. So, all right. Anywho,
He's supposed to be young.
conclusion. We're 95% confident that the interval 0.2995 to 0.4029 captures the true difference between the proportion of black and white young people who listen to rap every day. This suggests that 29.95% to 40.29% more young blacks listen to rap every day than young whites. Questions?
Yeah.
Wait. I'll wait a little, yes.
On the interval, is that rounded? The interval you got, is that rounded?
This
I
one?
got 4 7. The first one. I got 2, 9, 4, 7. No, it's not. Okay.
Even I got that. I don't.
Never mind, I don't know why I got that.
I did notice that some of the calculators, like yesterday when I showed you that it didn't matter the subtraction order, that one time it rounded more than the other.
So maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Today we're going to look at a significance test. So we've done significance tests with proportions, but now we're going to do it with two proportions. And I'm going to put a box around these little extra questions down here just so I don't write over them. You don't need to do that if you can control your handwriting. Zach, write small today.
Yeah.
All right. I'm interested in finding out the likelihood that a student is planning on going to college based on their math class taken during their senior year for students in the state of Oregon. I took an SRS at 80 senior students who are currently taking pre-calculus. Of them, 68 are going to college next year. Then I took an SRS of 110 senior students who are currently taking AP Calculus and found that 98 are going to college next year. Does this provide significant evidence that seniors taking AP Calculus are more likely to attend college next year than seniors taking pre-calculus? Yes? Maddie says no. Calvin says yes. All right, we shall find out. State. So, with a significance test, anybody remember what you need to put in your state? Your hypotheses?
Oh, yeah. We're going back to that?
No.
Yes!
increases
I didn't mind
why
it until I realized that I didn't know half the
So,
context.
we're going to start with the null. When you're comparing two samples, whether you're doing proportions or means, your null hypothesis is going to be that they're equal, that there is no difference. So I like to write it as P1 equals P2. Just so you know, sometimes it will be written as a subtraction problem. P1 minus P2 equals 0. If I add P2 to both sides, I get this statement. I personally like to write it like that, but if you see it like that, just know it means the same thing. Our alternative, the question we want to answer is, do we have significant evidence that seniors taking AP Calc are more likely to attend college than seniors taking pre-calc? So I'm going to say P1 is bigger than P2, and I'm going to make P1 my AP Calculus. That way I'm saying that the AP Calc proportion who go on to college is bigger than pre-calc. So then the next thing I want to do is define my parameters. So P1, true proportion, and I'm going to abbreviate proportion. Technically it's Oregon seniors only that I'm looking at. So Oregon seniors taking AP Calc. And then going to college. I should have taken my advice to you, Zach. I wrote too big. Oops, sorry. And then P2, same thing, except for instead of AP Calc, it's pre-calc. So I'm just going to use the little ditto marks. Are those called quotations when they mean ditto? Are they? What are they called? Well, I'm using ditto marks then. That's what I'm calling them. Then we need to state our alpha level, 0.05, because it doesn't specify any different, so we're going to go with 0.05. We also are going to give our actual statistics, so we're going to find P hat 1 and P hat 2. So P hat 1, that's my AP Calc kids. So I took an SRS of 110, 98 are going to college. Might help you if I have a calculator, huh? So 0.89. P hat 2. That's the pre-calc kids. That was an SRS of 80 and 68 are going. And that's 0.85. Nate?
They're called iteration marks if they're going opposite direction, and ditto marks if they're going the same direction.
Huh?
Okay. Thank you. So there's this weird extra step in this state that we have to do. It's called your P hat combined. And well, yeah, pretty much. Really what it is it's the average. And I bet you guys could tell me what's in between those. What's in between 0.89, 0.85? What's in the middle? 0.87. And our P hat combined is going to be 0.87. But the way they find it is they take the 98 and the 68 and add them together on top.
Why?
Because those are all the kids going to college out of both samples. C is combined, P hat combined. And then on the bottom you add the sample sizes together. And then you do get 0.87 divided by 190. I can do that one in my head. You get 0.87, but they show it in a weird way. It really, P hat combined is really just finding the average of your P hats. But it is something, especially those of you taking the AP exam, that you need to show in your state for these ones. And then last thing, we need to show what our P hat 1 minus P hat 2 is. 0.89 minus 0.85 gives us 0.04. You dropped your wallet. Any questions on state? Are you making snide remarks about state?
No.
Nate?
So why are we putting P hat 1 minus P hat 2 there and not in like plan or do?
We're going to use it in the do. It just, you can put it in the do if you want, if you really want to do.
Confident we put it in the do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We'll use it in the do, so
so
I
does it
guess
matter?
because, no.
Okay.
I guess the reason why I do it up there is because I have all the numbers up there, and in the do I tend to just put the formula and do the math in the calculator. And so I just put it up there because I've put other numbers up there. That's really my reasoning. So if you want to put it in the do, put it in the do. As long as it's in there somewhere. No. No, Maddie. No. All right, plan. I'll get to the calculator function in a minute. What are our 3 conditions we check? Random, normal, independent. No. Do I have a reason for why I do them in that order? No, I don't. Random says SRS for both of them. So I'm just going to quote SRS. Normal, all that wonderful jazz of checking N1 times P1 is greater than 10. Maddie hung her head when I said that. I'll be honest, it is pretty annoying. But you have to do it. If you want full credit. That's up to you if you want full credit or not. Alright. So, P1 is my AP Calc students. I have 98 choosing to go to college. So that's greater than 10. Out of 110, 98 going to college, which means 12. Ooh, barely made that in there. 12 is greater than 10 for not going to college. Pre-calc seniors, 68 going to college. Oh, and 12 again. But they're all bigger than 10, so we get to keep going. Independent. Let's see. I'll fit it under random. So, sample size for calc students, less than 1/10 the population. I honestly didn't check the numbers, but it's usually around 2,000 seniors in AP Calc for the state of Oregon. I can look, but I'm not going to. So we're going to say there's more than 1,100. It usually is. And then same for the sample size for pre-calc. That one, because it's not an AP class, they don't keep track of it quite the same, but we're going to go with there's more than 800 of them. And then before, when it was one proportion, it was a 1 prop z test. Now we're looking at 2 proportions. So our calculator is called a 2 prop z test. Any questions on the plan before we do the do? Mountain Dew should pay me. I should be. All right, so do, we're gonna put it in the middle here. And you guys are gonna love me when I remind you that with significance tests, you gotta draw your normal curve picture. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Groans and
of all the horrible things.
Just wait.
Chapter 11 you're gonna love.
Oh.
Why? Is it like even more of a combination? It's the worst part of everything.
Chapter 11's the best.
Are you lying?
All right.
Just wait. Just wait till they
Yeah,
see
what
this
is chapter
unit.
11 about?
Chi-squared test.
Huh?
Anybody take an AP Bio? Chi-squared tests. They're not bad.
Chai or pie?
Chi.
Oh.
Pie?
It's spelled chai.
What?
Chi. Chai.
But it's pie?
It's chi.
You want the true pronunciation or the pronunciation?
I'm going with the Ms. Whitall pronunciation because that's how I say it.
So you got someone who speaks Greek in here, so...
You speak Korean?
He does. He speaks like 8 languages. Okay?
Wait,
All right.
what's your pronunciation?
He.
Huh?
Kai. We're going with Kai. All right. So remember on significance tests, you assume the null is true. And the null is that there is no difference. Remember I said we could write it this way. So if we subtract, our difference is 0. So at the center of our normal curve, we're going to have 0. There's no difference between the proportion of AP Calc and Pre-Calc seniors who go to college. That's what we're assuming. Then we have to find our standard deviation, which apparently is your guys' least favorite part. No, why? It's not, it's all just typing it in the calculator. So just as a reminder, well, you know what? I'll do it in a minute because I am going to over here write it. So then I'll show you how to do it in the calculator. So remember with significance tests, you have to put the general formula for your test statistic. Anybody remember that general formula?
Stat minus parameter over standard deviation.
Stat minus parameter over standard deviation. We're working with proportions, so is our test statistic going to be Z or T? Z. And our statistic is P hat 1 minus P hat 2. The parameter is P1 minus P2. And then standard deviation, this is where I'm going to write it, so I didn't write it to the side. Square root of P hat 1 times 1 minus P hat 1 divided by N1 plus P hat 2 times 1 minus P hat 2 divided by N2. And that part, I'm just going to type in the calculator. I'm not going to put all the numbers in there. So p hat 1, cover up my normal curve for a minute. P hat 1 is 0.89. So 1 minus p hat 1 is 0.11. And that sample size was 110. Then I'm going to do p hat 2, which is 0.85. So 1 minus p hat 2 is 0.15. The sample size there was 80. And then I'm going to take that one, so I'm going to take my answer and I'm going to add it to the other one. So it's hard to see, but I did go up and highlight it. The blue doesn't show up under there, but it is highlighted. So then I hit enter and it just puts it down there for me. So then I hit enter and I've got my sum. And then the last part is to square root that answer, and we get 0.05 if we round.
What was that?
Oops, I forgot my decimal. Alright, so there's my normal curve. We're looking at 0.04. That was our statistic. So that's like right there-ish. And we're looking at greater than, so we're looking at the area to the right. And now the calculator does the rest for us. You all ready for the calculator part? Right, so stat, go over to tests, and it's number 6, 2 prop Z test. Now, X is your count, not the decimal. So it's the top number of the fraction. So we're going to put 98 out of 110. 68 out of 80, and this is why I like to write my null and alternative hypotheses this way, because to me it's much easier for me to go, okay, I want P1 to be greater than P2, so here P1 should be greater than P2 is the last option. And then remember, you can have it just calculate, or you can have it draw the normal curve for you. And excuse me, it gives me my Z. My test statistic is 0.8381 and my p-value is 0.201. So I got Z equals 0.8381 and P, my p-value is 0.201, right? Yeah. Hannah.
On the actual, like, the test statistic, like, the equation, what is, like, how is it going to be different in the equation, P hat versus?
So, P would be the actual true proportion of AP Calc seniors who go to college. My P hat is just the sample that I looked at. So they're going to be slightly different. If I did a good sample, they should be relatively close, but technically they might be a little different. So P is the actual, if I could talk to every senior in AP Calc and find out how many are going to college, that would be my P. P hat is my result from my sample.
So then how do you find that? Because I know we just found P, but then how do you find that? Like P1 and P2?
We don't. That is 0. We're assuming there is no difference. That's why we put 0 at the center here.
Is it always going to be 0?
Mm-hmm. You're always going to write your null hypothesis for these so that we assume no difference. So it's always going to be 0. Okay? Any other questions? All right, we're going to do the abbreviated part of the conclude. So, let's see. I'll put it over here. I'm not going to do red. That'll look too much like orange. Conclude. All right, so is our P greater than or less than alpha?
Wait.
Not less than. That's what you said the first time, right? Not less than. P is 0.201, alpha is 0.05, so our P value is greater than or equal to alpha, which tells us we have weak or strong evidence. We have weak evidence against the null. And if we have weak evidence against H null, is that statistically significant or not? It's not. So do we reject or fail to reject? Did you all say reject? Okay. I thought I heard reject, but it could just be that it reject is in fail to reject. But we failed to reject H null. And then the last part is weird because everything's been about H null, but then our conclusion, we say we cannot conclude the alternative. So we cannot conclude that more AP Calc seniors go to college.
Why are they taking pre-calc or AP calc then if they're not going to college?
Because they like math? I don't know. Maybe they're taking a gap year. It says next year, going to college the next year. So maybe they're taking a gap year. Who
Okay, that
knows?
makes sense.
All right. My extra little questions in the middle, just because the AP exam is coming up. Was this an observational study or an experiment? Observational. We didn't impose any treatment. We just observed the seniors in AP Calc and in Pre-Calc. So can we use the results to make claims about cause and effect?
No.
No. If it was an experiment, we could, but here we can't. And then scope of inference. So who can we generalize the results to? AP Calculus and Pre-Calculus, not just students, seniors in Oregon. But the in Oregon part is important too. We can't generalize it to any other states. And we can't generalize it to any other year of high school, just seniors. And the bottom one was just going to be one that I had you guys do on your own. So you will still be able to do your homework tonight, even though it looks like we didn't finish notes. That was just a you practice. Nate?
How much more do we have before we start reviewing tonight?
Chapter 11, which is relatively short.
Number 11 is the final.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
And then we'll review for the AP exam, and then I teach you ANOVA, which isn't on the AP exam, but it's required so I can offer the SOU credit.
Yours just who?
ANOVA.
What is that aim?
It's analysis of one variable.
I don't want to look that.
It's all calculator stuff.
Oh.
Great.
And I'll be honest,
What, I feel like wow,
since
this is
it's
amazing.
not on the AP exam, I don't put a huge emphasis on it, but I tell SOU I teach it, so to be able to offer the 244 credit, I have to teach it.
But you don't have to give us a test or anything.
No, I do.
Yes.
I do.
Well, no.
Oh,
They said you
come
did.
on.
What are we gonna do after the AP exam?
We have movies, and we do a project.
And board games.
Sure, we can play board games.
Popcorn.
We should go to field trips.
Name's actually
If you can
Target.
tell me how I can tie it into a statistics.
Make studies.
We can calculate, yeah, we can do like, this is a bias.
I could have been.
You make a study.
Well, that's what you do with your project.
Oh.
Oh, well,
Conduct a study.
I think
And also professional Google Sheets and everything.
I love Target.
Yes, here we go.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you going to be here 8th block tomorrow?
As far as I know, yes.